I decided to make a fencing guide for anyone who is just starting to do tournaments, and we'll cover all the equipment you need, the memberships, how to choose a tournament, and a bit of planning before the tournament begins. Before you can fence in a tournament, you need to make sure you have all of the necessary equipment. You have purchased a competitive membership, and you have registered for the tournament ahead of time. So this is a list of equipment that you would need to have in order to fence at a tournament. For the first three numbers, saber, foil, and epee, you would need to have at least 2 of the weapons. So for example, you would need 2 epees if you want to go to an epee tournament, and they would have to be in good working order. Next would be a glove. The glove would have to be in good condition. It has to pass an armor inspection for safety reasons. Next would be a body wire. You would need to have at least 2 body wires, again in working condition. 6 is a mask wire, which is for foil and saber. It connects the mask to the lame so that the electrical connection continues to the mask. Number 7 is a chest guard. This is mandatory for women and optional for men, and it is meant to be worn underneath the plastron or underarm protector. You need socks, a mask. Each mask is different for each weapon, and it has to be a level 1 or 350 Newton in Canada. Same thing for the jacket. You have to have a jacket with no holes or rips in good condition. Again, it has to be level 1, 350 newtons, and usually there is a label on the jacket that indicates what level it is. For pants, there would be a label stating that it's 350 newtons and has to fit properly. Number 12 is a conductive jacket or lame. This is again for foil or saber. It would have to meet the requirements of the armor for conductivity. Number 13 is an Under Armour plastron, which you wear underneath your jacket to protect your fencing armpit or the arm area. Number 14 is not necessary. It's a fencing bag, but if you happen to have one, that's good too. But you can bring your equipment in any bag that can fit all of your clothes. And number 15 is shoes. There are fencing shoes, but indoor court shoes work really well, preferably with a low heel to avoid ankle rolls, and when you lunge, you don't want your foot sliding into the front of your shoes. In order to register for a tournament, you first need a competitive membership. It is a good idea to speak to a coach or someone at your fencing club to see if this was included in your club membership fees, and if not, you might have to register through your national fencing organization. In Canada, it's through the Canadian Fencing Federation, and each province has its own association where you can register. As an example, I am on the Ontario Fencing Association's website and just navigating to where the membership would be to purchase or renew. Depending on your age, there could be several options available to you. Using Ontario as an example again, a competitive membership is $87.50. However, if you are U15 or 14 and under, it would be $50 for a competitive membership, and At the bottom of the screen, there is also a veteran membership. So if you are of veteran age, then it would be a $15 add-on to the competitive membership if you wanted to participate in veteran events in Canada. So here is a reference from the Canadian Fencing Federation for all of the age groups. Sometimes you'll hear veteran, junior, cadet, but there aren't any ages associated with them. So you can now have this to refer to. If as a beginner, I would highly recommend competing in your age category if there is one available, mainly because there will be beginners in that age category as well. If you are between the ages of 20 and 39, unfortunately, there's only one category for you, and that's senior. However, in Quebec, they have a AAA circuit meant for anyone who's 14 and older, and it is targeting beginners or inexperienced fencers. So if you are able to travel to Montreal, they will have tournaments for beginners in the senior age category. So now that we have all of our equipment and we have our competitive fencing membership, I will talk about registering for tournaments. So we are back on the Ontario Fencing Association's website, and every year in August, at least recently, they've been releasing a tentative schedule for the year, and they also include the age groups on the right hand side. For beginners, I strongly recommend focusing on provincial level tournaments. So green would be Ontario or provincial tournaments, and the blue would be the Quebec tournaments. Once you've identified a tournament you want to register for, registration opens roughly 3 weeks before the tournament's start date, and just keep an eye out for a link to be available on the provincial association's website. I also checked the Canadian Fencing Federation's website, and they do have a schedule. However, at the time of making this video, it was not up to date for the 2024-2025 season. However, here is last year's schedule, and in general, most tournaments occur on the same weekend every year anyways, so you have a guide for all the provincial level tournaments that are advertised here across Canada. So now that you have your membership and you're registered, I will talk about the steps I take to ensure everything is working and we have everything we need before a tournament. And I've separated these into 3 different categories. So we're going to check to see if the mask is in working order. You can check the back first. Usually you'll see something like that, saying 350 newtons. You want to make sure that the strap is good. It's not going to come undone easily. Going to check the rivets to make sure that those are in good conditions. And then the armorers say that they just check to make sure that the bib is in good condition. But the thing that they look at the most is this little part here, this rubber part, that doesn't peel away from the mesh. And they check all around here. You can see that I have done a bit of gluing on this mask because the armorer didn't like it one time. The armorer could also rub their hand along the mesh, try to see if there's any significant dents or bumps that they want to inspect further. They may also take a look in this, look inside, maybe hold it up to the light, try to see if any of the wires are out of place. They're just looking for weak spots in the mesh, Then they might take out a special tester to ensure that it's not a soft spot in the mesh. So next is this is just a jacket I have lying around. Again, you'll see some sort of tag like that, and you just want to check, especially in the armpit area, that the seams are well sewn on and you have time to go to a tailor if you have to. I also like to check the zipper area, make sure the zipper is nice and strong. Same thing at the top. Nothing there that's going to come apart. I did see on this one that there's this little part here that I'll need to sew that back up. So here are some pants. This again, it says 350 newtons on it. You're just looking at the edges, making sure that there's no rips or visible tears. That doesn't seem so bad. Checking the cuffs at the bottom. Seem they're in good shape. So this is a Plastron. Again, the judge should be looking at this to see if it has level 1, 350 newtons. I don't find it's common for Plastrons to have a problem, but just make sure everything fits nicely. You can check the back. Make sure the velcros. That's about it. I put 3 gloves here just so you can see the differences for what the armorers are looking for in a good glove. In this one, you can see that there's a big rip there. There's a big hole. There's damage there. They don't like to see any of that. And then they'll check to see if the Velcro works. So we'll take it apart, pull it. That's not very good. I don't think an armorer would like that one. They want the Velcro to be solid. So this one would fail. This one, while it looks like it's in great condition, the Velcro works really well. You see, this little part here would be considered a fail under the new rules, just because of that little slit, even though the manufacturer of the glove put that there on purpose. Like, this must be an older model. The new rules would not allow for it. So that is another fail. This is my tournament glove. You can obviously see some stamps, so it has passed. Velcro is in good condition. There's no little slit here. No obvious signs of wear or tear. So that is kind of what they're looking for in an epee and foil glove. So this is one of my epees, and a week before, I'd like to check that if there's anything that needs to be rewired or redone. So we can start at the tip. We're not looking at the screws really, but it's more that if it's traveling nicely, shouldn't be a lot of resistance, or I shouldn't feel any friction here. The barrel doesn't move at all. The barrel's wiggling a bit. That could be a problem in a tournament. And then I'll slowly look at the wire, and just to show you, this is one of my backups. So you can see that the wire in most cases is in good condition. There's a few ugly spots here, but the glue is not popping off just yet. Looking down here, looking to see if I can see that little wire covering, but you don't really see it there. And then again, the bell shouldn't have any dents in it. Should be in good condition. On the inside, they're just looking to see if you've got a device in there, and that it's all wired with spaghetti, or I call spaghetti this little gray tubing that you put around it. Most people do put their wires in the contacts. I forgot on this one. And again, you're just looking to see if there's anything you need to do to rewire it. Like, is the bell moving on you? And then we'll check to see if it's intermittent while we're here. Put out my tester, and I'll just press down, and then on this box, if there is a break in the signal, then that second yellow light will show up, and I just move it around. Not really overdoing this, but then I'll give it a bend, nothing happening. You can check the body cords now as well. So we'll just make the connection like that to make the light go off. Give this a wiggle. We just want to test it. We don't actually want to break it. And then, so now I'm using the ground wire too. So that's normal. Oh, let's try this way. And nothing. So that body wire is in good condition. The epee is in good condition. Nothing to repair. So this is my repair kit bag. It's about the size of a pencil case. Pretty thick material. Don't want to use something like a Ziploc bag, which might get a hole easily. Here are some fencing tips and springs. You might lose a tip during your bout. It might come flying off and you don't know where it is, so it's good to have a backup. And there's some springs in there in case you fail weight test during the day. You'll want to take out, and you want to replace the spring as well. Here are some epee tip screws. Those are lost all the time, so you'll need a replacement. This is a precision flathead screwdriver to take the tip screws on and off. Here's some tape. As a French grip epeeist, I like to have tape around in case I don't like how the grip feels or if it's not feeling as grippy as I want it. Then a testing kit, the epee gauge, the epee weight, testing box, and a body cord. So it's the night before the tournament, and we're going to check our epees to see that they pass all of the gauge and weight tests. So I'll try to show you the screw. The screws there, so that one, you can still see the screws in there, and then the light is going on in the background. I'll just check the other side, and if you're missing a screw, just hopefully you have an extra one and put one in. Then we'll check for gauge, so just insert the thinner gauge, press down, and hopefully you don't see a light. If you see a light, then you probably have a problem with the small spring that's attached to the tip. And then we insert the thicker gauge. That should pass relatively easily between the tip and the barrel. And then last but not least, we have the weight. So you slide this on. You should be holding this vertically up so that the barrel's all the way at the top. And then just press down. And then as you let go, the light should disappear. If the light stays on like that, then you probably have a problem with the big spring in the tip. So as a beginner, you may not own a fencing bag yet, and one of the options you have is a duffel bag or a very large backpack. This is I guess a medium-sized duffel bag. When I pack, I like to put things into the bag in the order that I would put them on. That makes the most sense to me. You can do whatever you feel is more comfortable. It doesn't matter, as long as you have your own system, do what works for you. But I'll show you how I do it. So first will be the fencing pants. Here's the fencing socks. Just double check you don't have any holes in your fencing socks. Then shoes. If you have a chest protector, you can put it in now. You might have to move things around.
to Plastron. Can put the body cords in next. Next is the jacket, then the glove, and the mask. It looks like there'll be enough room for the repair kit as well, and the water bottle. I do have a foil lame here, so we'll put that in there. And you would also need your head cord. All that's left are some change of clothes. That's spot for that. Then maybe some snacks. And zip it up. And maybe put your weapons on top. See if there's a way to hold it all together. Then all of your fencing equipment is in one spot so you don't forget anything. This is an example of how I like to schedule my mornings the day of a tournament. As an epee fencer, usually registration's around 8 o'clock, and I like to arrive 30 minutes before registration closes, and then I base anything else before that on that time. This is a detailed list of what I like to do as soon as I get to the venue. So first would be to find a place to put my fencing equipment. Hopefully there's some teammates or a coach there already, and you can put your stuff with them. Then I'll go register, get my stuff checked by the armor, fill my water bottle, get into my fencing gear, and start warming up. If you're not sure what kind of warm-up you want to do, here's an example. What you really want to do is just start warming up your body, get all the muscles awake, get your body temperature up. These are examples of warm-up bouts, and I like to slowly progress from warming up to how I would fence in a pool bout. And I like to have at least 3 warm-up bouts before pool start. About 15 or 20 minutes after registration closes, you'll hear announcements saying that your event will be held on piece numbers 1, 2, or 3, or 4, for example. So you won't know which piece you're on until you see the judges walk over to that piece, and then you can look at their clipboard, and there should be a sheet that looks very similar to this, where a list of names are on the left-hand side. Just ask to look at the pool sheet, and then the judge will show you, and then if your name's not there, it's probably on a nearby piece. So just keep on looking at pool sheets and asking the judges to see your name, and then when you find the piece that you're on, just make the judge aware that that's who you are, and then they'll probably check your equipment at the same time. The judge usually tells you if you're the first bout or the second bout or the third bout, etc. So you kind of have an idea when to be expected to be on piste, so you can be ready right away. Once pools are done, you'll be asked to check the pool sheet to make sure that all the scores of your bouts were correct. And then you'll have a waiting period. This varies from tournament to tournament, but you usually have enough time to go to the bathroom, eat a snack, maybe do some repairs to your epee if you have to, like add a screw, change a tip. I've seen some elimination bouts start about 5 minutes after, but that would be very quick. But still, you want to be hanging around the area to hear announcements. This is an example of what a direct tableau would look like. So after pools are done, everyone is ranked according to their wins and defeats, and then the number of hits for and hits against, and it outputs something like this. So you will have a ranking after pools, and then you'll be placed somewhere in the tableau. Nowadays, this is all done on fencing websites. So if you have the website link, you can go take a look. And they're usually very quick at updating the link. And then keep your ear out again to listen for your name to be called to a piste. Just a reminder to shake hands after every bout, to salute before and after. Make sure you say thank you to the judges, and have a fun day of fencing. I hope this guide will help you through one of your first tournaments, and thank you for watching.